Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Music Den. I'm your host, Armando Venditti. Hoping you guys are having a fantastic day. And above all else, that you're indeed looking after yourselves and one another. Before I get into the topic of what we hope to be another fantastic episode, I want to welcome back to the channel Mr. Jim Brecker. How's it going, Jim?
Doing fine. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever.
Whenever you happen to be
Good
watching
mental
this.
health.
Above all else, yes. Yeah, okay. And the one and only Ken Cheshire.
Good to see you guys this morning, or whenever it is. Um, yeah, 60s. Bring it.
There you go. There you go.
Oh,
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our final episode of Perfection Confection Hits of the 60s, the final acclaim. Um, we started doing these episodes backwards. We started with the 1990s and segued to the 1980s and 70s, and we are coming to you with our final episode of this series of Perfection Confection Hits of the 60s. So, Jim and Ken have both come up with 10 songs, 10 hits that they remember from 1960 to 1969. And I'm going to be hosting this wonderful episode. And
and
hopefully,
let's just be honest. You'll contribute here or there, as
if
you've
I
done in the
can,
other ones.
if I
Yes.
can, yes, I will. And we do hope that upon watching this episode and the others, that talking about these songs brings back memories for you as it has done for us. All right. So, as I look at my screen here, oh, why mess with perfection, Jim?
I'm rankled. Um,
Go
okay. So
for it.
the 70s was it's a pretty massive decade. 60s may come close to beating it. It may. I don't know. There's some strong contenders on this list.
Mhm.
And I just think I hope that people will find my confection selections to be perfection as I do. All right, 1960. All of these hits, as I talk about them, are going to be numbered as per the year-end Hot 100 singles chart from Billboard. Um, we are going to start with the number 20 hit of that year. And this is Only the Lonely by Roy Orbison. Um,
Okay.
you know, Roy, God bless him, had his resurgence with the Traveling Wilburys. Sadly, did not last for long for him because he died shortly after the album came out. But wow, you talk about it's funny to think about these songs. In terms of the age of the artist because I always pegged Roy Orbison as an oldies artist, and therefore I always pictured him as somewhat old. If I'm not mistaken, when he died, he was only like 48. I mean, he had not been around that long.
I think he was a little older.
I mean, I thought so too, but I was looking at, I was just maybe this is something I can be corrected on. I remember being shocked that he was as young as he was. Um, but despite his age when he passed, Only the Lonely is just a fantastic, genre blurring track of, you know, pop and country and rock. Um, I don't think I'd go as far as maybe saying opera with his falsetto and vocal takes,
I
but
wouldn't
it's
say that.
no, but it is an absolutely amazing tune. So I'm starting off 1960 strong. Gosh darn it, with the mighty Roy Orbison. Um, did you have a chance to look that up and correct me, Ken?
No.
I'm looking it up right now as we're doing this.
Okay, well,
Please.
ladies and gentlemen, we'll see if Jim can go 0 for 1 in terms of accuracy. Um,
I think
52.
he sold a lot of Ray-Bans too.
Yes, he did.
He died
Yes.
at the age of 52.
Okay, so 48, 52. I'm gonna give that one to me. That's not so far off.
No, you're not going to give yourself that one. You were
I am
wrong.
gonna
It
give
was
that to me.
52.
It'd
So,
be
I
Okay,
mean,
different from like
so
48 to 58, but 52, that's close enough.
what year was he born, Armando?
I got to look it up again.
Okay,
But,
sorry.
okay. Roy Orbison, April 23rd, 1936.
Okay,
So he was 24 when Only the Lonely hit.
It would appear so.
that would yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah. No,
I'm
but
still
still.
giving that one to me. I don't care
No,
what you
you're
guys say.
not giving that one to you. It was the wrong decade. Give me a break. I mean, this is like, come on.
Jim is 1 for 1.
Jim was one for none. It's like,
We'll go there.
okay. So, all right. Oh, it was a good choice. Ladies and gentlemen, this episode has gone off the rails, but we're gonna reel it back in and we're
And
gonna
it's
keep
only the first
going.
song.
We're gonna keep going. All right.
Okay,
Okay. Yeah.
1960. Um, I didn't discover the original version of this song for many years after I heard it off of the Who's Live at Leeds. Original by Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, Shaking All Over. It's got that excellent, distinctive guitar riff.
Mm,
And with that
yeah.
bass.
But guess who would do a version of it too?
I
Yeah.
mean, it really, um, and for me, I don't know, it somehow stands out, for 1960. I would have, if I didn't know, I would have guessed at least the mid 60s, maybe late, but no. Yeah, this is just such a good 60s rocker. And I really do connect a lot with 60s. I was born in 59, so I was just a wee lad for
Yeah.
that decade. But
Mhm.
my tastes and sensitivities are, go to that. Like Armando, you said you have a connection with the decade before you were growing up, and I feel the same way here. So
Yeah, I do.
even though my bones these days feel like I was growing up in the 50s. Um, but yeah, 60s with all of the changes, and especially when you get into soul and psychedelia and stuff like that. This
Yeah,
is such a good this is maybe the hardest list for me to put together, I think, trying to decide what to choose and what to leave out.
yeah, yeah.
But
No,
for
that's a
now,
good one.
Johnny Kidd and the Pirates, they be shaking all over.
No, yeah, that's a good one. As I said, the Guess Who did a version of that as well.
Yep,
Oh,
Yeah, at
okay.
one
been
point.
covered many times.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that Johnny Kidd was only 2 when he wrote that song?
Well, he was a kid.
See, I told you it fits. I'm gonna give that one to me too.
Overcompensation. All right. Okay. Moving on.
The red
Okay.
Camaro was on order.
There you.
Mhm.
Okay. Now we're going into a whole new area. All right. We must
That's
continue,
what
ladies
she
and
said.
gentlemen.
1961.
Yes.
Um,
You
number
slime.
46 on the year-end chart. This is the mighty, mighty Dion with Runaround Sue. Bum, 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 ba-da. I mean, that's all I'm going with for now.
Keep away from
But
running around too. All right.
exactly. Um, just what an upbeat, fantastic track that really, I think, kind of um, has a foot in both decades of the 50s and the 60s. Because just with that bump, bump, I mean, that's very kind of
Yeah.
doo-wop-ish,
Yeah.
Yeah.
yet it's got this sort of, rockabilly sensitivity as it sort of carries the tune the rest of the way through. Just a fantastic track, I think, represents well what was going on with music at that time. Um, yeah,
Mhm.
Dion, Run Around Sue, you just can't deny what a great track that is.
Yeah, there's a lot of these songs, and that's one of them that I associate with jukeboxes.
Oh yeah.
I
You
can see
just hear
that.
that
Definitely.
coming out of a jukebox in a diner. Oh yeah,
Definitely.
oh
All
yeah.
right. Ken, your pick.
Okay, uh, I'm gonna go with one that a lot of people probably will not recognize right offhand. The artist is Freddie King, and the song is "Have You Ever Loved a Woman?" A nice, slow 12 bar blues progression. Um, just again, a little bit different than a lot of stuff on the radio at the time. I think just a wee bit ahead of its time. But like I said, I'm a sucker for those 12 bar blues. And I'm not sure what it charted in the US, but it got to number one in the UK. So you know, I don't know. I consider, when American artists charts that high in the UK, I usually think that's pretty impressive because there's a lot of good Brits doing stuff,
Yeah.
and of course this was before the British invasion, but it's coming up pretty quick. Freddie
Okay.
King, legend.
Good
Have
one.
you
Good
loved a
one.
woman?
All right, Jim.
62 now,
There we go.
up to that. And we're gonna get a little soulful now, boys and girls. Um, Topping off number 23 in the year-end chart is the legendary Sam Cooke with Twisting the Night Away. Um, there's a back when I was really buying music heavily in the 80s, there was a best of Sam Cooke album that was out that I think had, it was this stark yellow cover with a black and white picture of Sam, and it was I think 12 tracks on it. And it had, Cupid on there, Chain Gang, but Twisting the Night Away to me was the one that was always, the standout favorite. Just really a magnificent track of just energy, power, just really gets you up and moving.
Mhm.
Um, you wanted to twist the night away when listening to Sam Cooke on this one, I tell you what. Um,
Okay. All
and who
right.
knows if twist was just, like the term rock and roll itself, if it was just a slang for something else. But we'll leave that one lie.
I'm not touching that one. Ken?
Well, same could be said for the title of this song. It did make it to number one on the Hot 100, and it's a song that's been covered so many times, and in the various covers, it has reached the top five in at least three different decades. And we're talking about Little Eva's "The Locomotion." So yeah, yeah. Um,
Okay.
so yeah, the locomotion. Yeah, but also what I
I got it.
consider just an excellent jukebox song. And this is a prime example of that whole Brill building sound,
Yeah.
of the artists and the songwriting that came out of the Brill building at the time. Um, if you don't know what that's reference to, I recommend checking it out. The history and the legacy of the songwriters and artists from the Brill building,
The Brill Building in
BRIL.
the Brill Building in New York City. Is that what you said?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Yep.
is played such an important part in the development of pop music and early rock. Um, there are
Many
many
artists.
artists later on that were um, contract songwriters. That's
Yeah.
how,
Yeah, the Brill Building is famous. Like people like Carole King, Jerry Goffin,
yeah,
Neil
Yeah, I mean the
Sedaka.
the locomotion is a Goffin and King song, right?
yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. But yeah, the Brill Building is legendary. I
Hmm.
mean, to be literally to have to sit, like sit down and come up with hit songs
Yeah,
for artists. And that was your
Yeah.
9 to 5.
yeah.
That was your
Yeah.
9 to 5. You would just sit down at your desk or with a guitar and just or at a piano and just try and come up with hit songs. And like
It's a
you
s- and
just
it's
imagine.
yeah, it's a formula that lasted well into the 70s. I mean, Fagan and Brecker, they started out as songwriters for other artists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
so yeah, but yeah, the yeah, it's just, you know, covered by so many artists. I think probably most of our viewers would probably think about Grand Funk Railroad
Yeah.
primarily.
Yes.
Locomotion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, who, when they recorded it, was produced by Todd Rundgren. I do know
Are
that.
you sure?
I
You
am
do.
sure. I had that album.
Don't make me look it up. I mean, okay. All right. No, good enough. Good choice. Good choice.
If I'm wrong, the internet is wrong. So yeah,
There you go. There you go.
Yeah,
Always believe what you see on the internet.
that's right.
that's right.
Um,
Abe Lincoln said that.
Yeah,
True enough. True enough. All
he
right.
was he was the bass player in
Now
Jimi Hendrix,
Lundgren's band.
right?
One of them, anyway. Sorry. Okay. Um, Jim, your next one?
1963.
Yes.
So this song got all the way to gosh, it got to 33 in 1963. And this particular track for me evokes feelings of like being at a carnival. Um, this is Our Day Will Come by Ruby and the Romantics.
Okay.
And this has just this organ sound that underpins the entire thing and a rhythm that sounds like it's from a prehistoric drum machine. I mean, it sounds tinny and kind of, broken here or there, but it's just this fantastic song of just, youthful love and longing. And it's just this beautifully done piece. Again, the organ kind of carries the main melody all the way through, underpinning what's going on with the vocals, and it's just an absolutely outstanding track. We're gonna have playlists below linked here, but
Yes.
I think both a YouTube version and a Spotify version, whichever way you swing. And for people who don't know these tracks, um, yeah, Our Day Will Come is just this fantastic little gem of pop perfection, um, which, I picked it because it fits the theme, dang it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah, Ruby and the Romantics, probably a one-hit wonder.
Okay. All right.
Ask your grandparents about these songs.
And ask if it was produced by Todd Rundgren.
Yes.
Okay. All
All
right.
right.
Go on.
1963
Yes.
reached #1 on both the Billboard Hot 100 and R&B charts by a little 12-year-old kid named Little Stevie Wonder. And that's Fingertips Part 2. It was a live recording. This was his breakthrough song. Um, one thing
Everybody
I
say
love about,
yeah.
yeah, I love about good Stevie Wonder is I love harmonica, and he
Mhm.
does harmonica so good. Um, and this made him the youngest artist ever to top the chart
Yeah.
at the time.
At the time.
I'm not sure who, yeah, I'm not sure who replaced him, but
I'm gonna
uh,
guess Michael Jackson with
yeah, that
Ben,
would be,
you
yeah,
know.
yeah, could be,
Possible.
could be. So yeah, Stevie Wonder doesn't need any, introduction to our viewers. But yeah, this is one of my two favorite little Stevies.
Yeah.
Yep.
One of the stories I heard about Stevie Wonder, when he first got to Motown, they couldn't control him. He would sneak into recording sessions and jump on the drums or
Yeah.
bongos
Yeah.
or like in the middle of a recording session, they turn around, oh, there's little Stevie. I'm just like, and he's got the bongos between his legs, and he's like, just, okay, can I get a mic? Like he just wanted to be in on these recording sessions.
Yeah.
They had
Yeah.
to control him. They're like, no, you can't just come in here, but I want to play. Like that's what he would say. So I mean, yeah, he's a talent. My God, yeah, definitely, definitely. Okay, Jim.
Mhm.
I need to look up something really quick. Um,
No, you're not allowed.
uh, Too late. I'm going to. Um, so this one, 1964, I found the fact I was looking for,
Good for you.
went up to number 37, but really, really, this is like number one in everyone's hearts. And no, it's not the Beatles. Um, it's number one in everyone's hearts because it's written by frickin' Burt Bacharach. And Burt could have his way with a melody like no one else. You talk about stuff that's unique, singable, sticky. I mean, Bacharach was the master of that.
Did Hal
And
David do the lyrics?
um, let me finish looking. One moment, please.
I was waiting for
Yes.
that opportunity.
We're prepared for this episode, ladies and
Aren't
gentlemen.
we? Aren't we, children?
Yes.
Yes, Hal David did the lyrics. Do you want to say the title?
No.
Okay, it's "Walk On By" Dionne Warwick. And Dionne Warwick, I've read somewhere that Bert, it's the same place where I read that Roy Orbison died at 48. Um, Burt Bacharach, from
So
what
you
I
know it's
read, felt
reliable. Gone.
exactly. Again, Abe Lincoln said so. Um, Dionne Warwick was Burt Bacharach's perfect muse. You talk about a gal who had just the utmost in character and control in her voice, just to be able to kind of take um, the lovelorn feelings of "Walk On By" and just sing it with this combination of poise and just being detached from the whole thing. I mean, Dionne Warwick frickin' nails this tune. I can listen to this on a loop for an hour easy and not get tired of it. It's just such a
Yeah.
stupendously written and
I would
performed
agree.
song.
I would agree. Yeah. Mhm.
Seal did a great cover of this too.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can see that too.
Yeah.
All right.
And Burt Bacharach would go on and make an album with Elvis Costello.
Absolutely.
I
Produced
haven't
by Todd
mentioned
Rundgren.
Elvis this
Uh,
episode. I had to throw it in there somewhere. My 64, um, part of the British
or
invasion, which
63. Are we
I
six? Sorry,
huh?
We
we
are
said
64.
63. Or 64, 63.
64, I think.
64.
Okay.
Yeah. Um,
Okay.
oh, I'm sorry, Armando. What did you have to throw in for 63?
No, nothing.
You sure?
Nothing.
Okay. Anyway, back to the British invasion. It peaked at six in the UK and actually number four in the US, which I found surprising. Jerry and the Pacemakers with "Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying." Oh my God, I love British invasion of the '60s. Um, there are several um, internet radio stations that specifically do '60s and British invasion, and I can put on one of those radio stations and just ride it out. So good. Um, this song reminds me of uh, the film from about 15 years ago called Pirate Radio. It's got some really great, one of the best soundtracks of any films, of the
Mhm.
60s, telling the story about in the 60s, the pirate radio stations would be on these big ships, would be right outside
Yeah,
of the waters of England and play rock and roll and stuff before the BBC,
because they were allowed to. Yeah, they were in international waters. So,
oh yeah.
yeah.
So, and Jerry and the Pacemakers had so many good songs, during this time.
Yeah.
And yeah, Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying is the epitome of what they did best at this time. So yeah, Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying.
Great
Okay.
tune.
All right. Good one. All right, Jim.
1965. This hit 49 on the chart, and that just makes me scratch my head because I would think this would be much, much higher on the list. Um, this is not 180 degrees from Don't Let the Sun Catch You Crying, but I'll give it a good like 112 degrees away from it, just in terms of feel and arrangement and possibly impact overall to pop music. This is California Girls by the Beach Boys. Um, Now, of course, everyone knows this tune, and it probably lives rent free in most people's heads. But it's interesting to kind of listen to this in the context of other things that were coming out in 65. And it's really, even though it's typical Beach Boys, that typicalness doesn't start until about, oh, what, 30 seconds into the track, because the whole beginning is Brian beginning to um, stretch his limbs and discover his superpowers of arranging and just the whole thing with the keyboards and the kind of deep brass that's there. It was just completely unique to the time period. And this is stuff that's like, what the heck is going on with this song? I mean, it starts off with this little keyboard riff, and then, like I said, descends into these horns, and of course, you get the dun 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 dun. It's like a completely different song at that point, and that's typical Beach Boys from that part on. But again, that prior section is like the blueprint that Brian Wilson would begin to mine, to great depths. Pet Sounds would be kind of the ultimate achievement of
Yeah.
what he would get out of that. But yeah, just the Beach Boys. We talked about the Beach Boys recently on an episode, and it's interesting to kind of look at those albums in the context of when they came out, just because it was really beginning to break new ground in pop music. And for all of us who've been living with these songs for, 60 years now, it's kind of like, all right, California Girls, yeah, I know it, I know it. But at the time, there was something quite,
Yeah.
quite special about
Yeah.
it.
But groundbreaking and
Yep.
some.
And this reminds me of an yet another video idea. Um, the
All songs
60s,
produced by Todd Rundgren. Sorry.
yeah,
Okay. You could do that.
the 60s would not have been the 60s without the Wrecking Crew.
Yes. Oh, we need a Wrecking Crew
We
episode.
need a Wrecking Crew episode, um,
Yes. Well said,
because
sir.
that's the magic, part of the magic of so many of these songs that uh yeah, Beach Boys, that wasn't the Beach Boys in the studio. They were singing, but at this time they were not playing instruments. Um,
No.
there's
Well,
a fantastic documentary from a book called, guess what? The Wrecking Crew.
The Wrecking Crew.
it
Yeah.
was it was well documented that, for example, Dennis Wilson was not the best drummer. And he had a hard time keeping time. So I can believe that they used other
Yeah,
musicians like the Wrecking Crew, yeah, for their.
yeah. Wrecking Crew did the backgrounds for, gosh, it seems like everybody,
Yeah.
in that time.
Yep.
Well, I
So,
mean,
so yeah,
it's like it's just a little side note. Fast forward to the 70s, you've got Steve Lukather and the Picaro brothers and David Pace doing all these sessions for other, from everyone from Michael Jackson to Barbara Streisand kind of thing. You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
yeah,
Toto was kind of its own wrecking crew of
yeah,
the late
yeah,
70s,
yeah,
mid
yeah,
to late 70s, excuse
yeah.
me. Yeah.
And I'm going to say it again, Lisa Del Bello's debut album. For MCA Records, produced by David Foster. But yeah, it's
Who
not
only has 16 Grammys.
exactly bastard. Moving on. It's, where's your 17th? I'm sorry.
Bela Fleck. That's
There
who has the
you
17.
there you go. There you go. But I'm not one to gossip. So no, I've heard of the Wrecking Crew before. So yeah, we can do a show on that.
Oh, yeah.
oh, you betcha.
We can
Let's
do a
get
show.
right on that.
All right. Now, over to Jim for his pick for 65.
No,
Sorry
it's
for going
Ken.
off.
I think Ken needs
That
to give
was
Ken,
his choice for
ladies and
65.
gentlemen, this show's gone off the rails. Can you pick for 65?
it's time for frack here. I'm jumping onto the Motown train here with one of their
Okay.
more grittier R&B driven hits at the time. Junior Walker and the All Stars with Shotgun. Oh
Oh,
my gosh. If I'm in a diner, and I love diners,
I can tell.
and
You mentioned
I
them
know,
quite a bit. So,
and if there's a jukebox, I almost guarantee the song is on there. I will further guarantee that I will play it. It is just such, oh gosh. It peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 1 on the R&B chart, rightfully so. This is a killer song. If
epic.
you're not familiar with it, this will get various body parts shaken. It'll get your locomotions.
or he'll
Uh,
just pick up
so
someone and just shake them.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Just,
Right. Um, you know, it's 60s at its best.
Okay,
Motown at its best.
okay,
I love 60s Motown.
cool.
so
So
I'm going to hit the pause button here. We're going to go on a tangent, boys and girls.
yeah,
So, Ken,
Tangent
yeah,
alert.
it is well documented on this channel how you and the saxophone have a strained relationship. Shotgun is all about the sax.
yeah.
So, what's the differentiator here?
Well,
What,
Todd
what,
Rundgren is playing sax on this song, and that's what.
fantastic. He was 12
Yeah, he's 5 years old at the
blowing
time.
it.
No, yeah, but 60s sax is is different from 80s sax. I'm sorry.
What about 70s sax?
Yeah, or
Yeah.
even 70s. Yeah. Um, this one, this is okay. This is okay. It doesn't. It fits much better.
Hmm.
It's maybe it's just because I've been listening to this for 60 years, but I'm okay with it. I mean, for there to be a
Hmm.
rule, there's got to be an exception. So this is one of the
All
exceptions.
right. No, fair
All
enough.
right.
Fair enough. Fair
Okay.
enough. Okay.
Back
So
to our
maybe
reschedule.
I'm gonna posit that maybe this has something to do also with just kind of the soul genre and the fact that the saxophone breaks in it are short and powerful and definitely have that
Sure.
soul
I
to
mean,
it.
I don't mind sax and Springsteen songs either.
Okay.
It's just it's very melodic. It's not the noodling stuff or the I don't know.
Okay.
Just in
Okay.
general, I
Fair
guess
enough.
it's because I mean, I started off playing in band in high school in the early 70s. Part of it, I have to admit, is just personally, the vast majority of sax players I've known are not good, and they do not sound good. So, so to me, that it's an uphill battle. For me to
Okay.
say someone's a good sax player or it's a good sax line or something is saying a lot. It's just, Jim, you've got your special love for drums and drummers and stuff like that. Mine's just kind of the opposite with sax, but you know, it is what it is.
Okay, well, again, that's
Here,
what,
Fair
no,
enough. Fair
well,
enough.
that's why it stood out because it just dawned on me. It's like, wait a minute, this is a sax driven song. So I just wanted to poke a little bit at what the
sure,
dividing line was for you.
yeah. And looking at my list, this is the only one with sax. So yeah, go
All
figure.
right.
All right.
All right. We must carry on, ladies and gentlemen. Down to Jim for his next pick.
1966. I darn well guarantee you that this has no sax in it whatsoever.
You
Um,
guarantee. Okay, go ahead.
whether Todd Rundgren plays it or not. He did, however, orchestrate the strings on this. Um, this is topped out at number 27 on the Hot 100 for the year. This is Walk Away Renee by the Left Bank.
Okay.
And this, may be a double up that Ken and I have, because I know Ken, I know you absolutely love this song too.
I love the band. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, this is just such a little miracle of a tune. I mean, it's heavily, got this chamber,
yep.
not orchestra, but string
Got the
chamber
strings.
feel
Yeah.
to it. It doesn't even break 3 minutes. It's got this vocal line that, I mean, the guy is not the strongest singer in the shed in any way, shape, or form. But boy, does he sell this song that is just like a complete and total heartbreak song. Um, it's it's very short in its verses, and this song is pretty much all about the chorus and just about the sweepingness of it. Again, the heartbreak that's just kind of ridden throughout. Um, it's just an absolutely outstanding song, and the ending of it is so perfect because it's got these bombasts and swells, but the very end of it just kind of tails off, not fades out, but just sort of tails off. And it's just this delicate little, just extra twist of the knife in the heart that the character is going through.
Okay.
This song was done. Oh gosh, it's not the Temptations. There's a Motown group that did a cover of it in later in the '60s. Um, uh, big throaty soul voice to it. Sorry, I didn't do the research on it. Um,
Is it the
Ricky Lee
Isleys?
Jones also has done a cover of Walk Away Renee, and I'm sure
Okay.
there's a bunch more out there. Sorry, Ken, I didn't catch what you said.
I think it was the Isleys, wasn't it?
Maybe. You know
Anyway,
what? Tell you what, why don't you do your 1966 song, and then I'll do
Yeah,
a
you can.
little
Yeah,
research
yeah. And
and
I'm
come
taking
back.
control of the show back. Okay. Ken, give us
well, the
your
thing, well, one of the
1966
great
show.
things,
And
yeah,
the
one of the great things about the left bank, I will throw this in there. You talk about the strings, but they combine strings and a harpsichord, and it just really
Well,
gives
okay.
that,
Yeah.
um, God,
Yeah.
that
the
little
Four
bit of a
Tops.
classical
Is it
feeling
four
to it.
tops? Okay.
The okay, was it all right? The other big hit they had was Pretty Ballerina, which is
Mhm.
also it has that same flavor and just it just melts the heart. Anyway,
All right. Your pick for
so
66.
66. Have we covered Spanish rock here yet? I don't think so.
No.
Spanish rock.
Spanish rock, yeah.
¿Dónde está Santa Claus? Have we talked about that?
Yeah. When we were in the video we did on the 70s, Confection Perfection. I had mentioned Ozark Mountain Daredevils that I thought the singer was a female when it turned out to be a male.
Hmm.
Guess what? This happens again with Los Bravos and Black is Black.
Are
Okay.
you saying the person singing this is a woman?
No, it's not.
Okay, but
But
you
it's
But
thought
you
it
that
was
it's
a
thought it
that
woman.
it's
was
that high
register. Then high
high
octave.
register of the singer.
Okay, all right.
Black is black. I want my baby back, and it
Okay.
just hot Billboard Hot 100 reached number 4 in the U.S.,
That's a great
number
tune.
2 in the UK, and Armando, you guys did it best at number 1. Um, it's
With
one of the first Spanish rock songs to achieve global success,
okay. Oh, perfect.
and it's always there
I
were
got a question when you're done. Yeah. Oh, perfect. Perfect.
yeah, and it was a long time before I knew who actually the artist was on this.
Hmm.
Just hearing it on the radio so much, and I just thought it's just really such a good song. It's catchy for me. For to me, it's just catchy as all get out.
Sunday will never be the same. I say I didn't even know you didn't even know the title. Sunday will never be the same again. So
Spanky and Our Gang.
there you
Yeah,
go. Okay, Spanky and Organ. That's the one. When was that released? Was that 66?
67.
Okay, I'm a year ahead. All right. Um, that song gets me. It's such heartfelt and very emotional, very
Yeah,
strong
yeah,
vocal delivery. I'm
yeah,
like, oh my God. It's like that and Georgie Girl. It's like,
Hey,
like that's
yeah.
gotta be 67, 66. Georgia Girl. That's gotta be. But those two songs,
Sure.
oof, get me. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this show has gone off the rails, so you know what? We're gonna just keep going. Um, okay, Jim,
yep.
for 67.
1967. Yep. Um, this only got as high as 53 on the Billboard year-end Hot 100, but I really find that an astonishing lack of good taste by the general population. Because at some point, through the same internet sources that talk about Roy Orbison's age, Todd Rundgren, and Abe Lincoln, um, this song was once picked by Rolling Stone as the best pop song of all time.
Okay.
1967, and you know what? On just hearing this song, I gotta agree. This may be the most astounding and most perfect of all the perfectionary confectionery we've been covering.
Yeah.
And this is Jackie Wilson. Your love keeps lifting me higher and higher.
Okay.
I'm sure that Ken's familiar with it. Armando, I'm
Oh
not
yeah.
sure by that look
I'm
if you're
I'm
familiar
familiar
with it.
with the Bette Midler version and Rita Coolidge, and
Well, tell you what, Rita was
I've
clearly
heard
on
the Jackie
downers.
Wilson version.
Yeah, it's just astounding, this upbeat piece of soul that just cooks like you've got the you've got the pot on boil, and it just is unrelenting in just its soul, its joy. Um, it's
Yeah.
got kind of a gospel-y feeling to it
Yeah, there's
and
an
how it's
exuberance about
arranged.
it. There's an exuberance about it.
It is exuberant. That is a perfect word for it, Armando. Thank you. Um, yeah.
Had to help. There you
Yeah,
go.
I mean, if
Yeah.
again, if people haven't heard this one, it's worth searching out.
Yeah.
Playlist links below, and it's just you know, uh, uh, it's just this modern little miracle of pop and soul from the
Yeah.
60s to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely outstanding.
Yeah. No, it's true. It's true. I mean, I do like the Bette Midler version and over the Rita Coolidge version, but yeah. No, it's a good
And
song.
I'm sorry I missed. Have you heard the Jackie Wilson version?
I've heard the Jackie Wilson version. Yes,
Okay,
yes, I have. All
gotcha.
right, Ken.
I'm going way away from this from your choice, Jim,
Uh-oh.
however good it is. Um, a song that is considered by many to be the quintessential psychedelic rock song,
Oh shit. Go ahead.
Incense and Peppermints by Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Ooh, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, number one Billboard. It was originally meant to be a B-side, and it's one of these stories, like a lot of other songs. Um, the they sent the records to the radio stations, and the DJs started playing the B side instead of the A side,
Yeah.
which this was. And doggone it, I meant to look to see what what the A side to the single was, and I forgot all about doing that. But uh, yeah, there is no psychedelic compilation worth its salt that doesn't have this on there. Um,
Agreed.
I specifically refer to all the various box sets of nuggets that I highly recommend.
Yeah,
Um, I really do. Um, I've been toying around with the idea of doing some research and putting together info so that we could do a psychedelic video, but we keep
Okay.
adding more and more to it. But maybe
You can,
someday.
you can always do a
dude, I can bring
reflection.
in some strobes and we can do a
There you
psychedelic
go.
video right now.
There you go. Yeah. I'd have to. We need a black light too. So and
Yeah.
velvet posters. But yeah, Strawberry Alarm Clock, did it so well, as did a lot of artists during the late '60s. Um, um, yeah, late '60s is one of my favorite specific periods because of what was going on. Um,
Yeah.
Artists that were jumping on board and experimenting with psychedelia, and those that were not doing pure psychedelia but would still have that tinge and that flavor in it.
Yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
just give it that
Mhm.
little extra spike.
Which proves how strong the pull of psychedelia was
Yeah,
to people.
yeah,
Yeah.
experimentation and all that stuff. So, so yeah, Strawberry Alarm Clock. Yeah, Incense and Peppermints is just it's just undeniable to me. So,
Definite. Definite. Okay. Moving
And you
on.
wonder how, kind of looking back at that time, how many of those guys were partaking of said psychedelics, or if they were just aping the styles of other people and other
right.
bands who were doing that.
Sure enough. Sure enough.
Yeah.
All right, Jim, your next one. 1968.
1968. This is the number nine tune from the Billboard year-end Hot 100 singles. And again, this is one that sort of lives rent-free in everyone's head in the penthouse because that's where it belongs in terms of like fantastic songs um, that have a um, an amazing hook, something you can sing along to, um, an outstanding performance, catchy as all get out. Um, the duo, once known as Tom and Jerry, produced this little song called Mrs. Robinson that was, I correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm guessing it was written for The Graduate. Um, but anyway, to me, this song is a lot like American Pie in terms of its pop culture references and its um,
Yeah.
connections to time lost, which can never sort of come back again. And I
Yeah.
guess that's kind of limited to the one line of, where have you gone, Joe DiMaggio, and,
Yeah.
all that. But yeah, this is just a completely outstanding song. Um,
Hmm.
Everyone knows it. I'm not going to belabor the point.
No, true enough. True enough.
There's some interesting covers out there too. Be
Care to name
careful.
drop one? The Todd Rundgren version?
Yeah, there's a punk version, but I can't think of who it is. So be careful on what you click on.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. Always be careful of what you click on.
That's true.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Ken, you're one.
Listen to
Yeah,
Uncle
and the thing,
Armando.
yeah, and the thing about Simon and Garfunkel, um, Simon doesn't get enough credit for his guitar riffs. This has
Oh,
got an excellent guitar riff, and one of my other favorite Paul Simon guitar riffs is the Hazy Shade of Winter.
same album, same time.
Yep, yep.
Okay.
Um, yeah, he doesn't get enough credit for that stuff. So, but anyway, 1968, a song that gets a lot of flack these days, and I just think whoever's throwing that shade just needs to shut the frick up. Gary Puckett in the Union Gap. I mean, Puckett was such an incredible singer, and this is the song "Young Girl," and people say,
Okay.
"Oh, that's creepy." Well, no, it's a guy singing, um, fighting temptation. Plus, it wasn't unusual back in the '60s for people to marry when they were still in their teens. So just get off of that, you know, that kick. Quit looking at things through a 2010s lens and look at it. It's an incredible song. Like I say, Puckett's vocals are just unbelievable. It's been used so many times in movies and TV shows and whatever, um, because was made such an impact that they'll use it in a film, that song, simply to establish a period. And people that are familiar with that music say, "Oh, okay, '60s," and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and in the U.S. and number 1 in the U.K. Like I said, that's unusual for American artists to beat out a lot of the British people on their own turf.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
you know, um, and probably Gary Puckett and the Union Gap would probably fall into that category of you only need a greatest hits,
Yeah.
but it's a
Yeah.
darn
Definitely.
good greatest hits though.
Definitely.
It's very, very strong.
Mhm.
So there we
So,
go.
so what you're saying is that this song is not from the standpoint of some leering, lascivious, and older guy, but it's really just sort of kind of, like say, Good Morning Little Schoolgirl is kind of in that vein. This is more sort of innocent.
It's the "Don't Stand So Close to Me" of its time.
Okay.
Okay. Now I have a
It's
point of
like,
reference.
no,
Okay.
yeah.
All right. Okay. Jim, 1969.
19s. We're at the end of the decade already. Holy crap. Um, Boy, what a arc this decade went through.
Mhm.
You know, the aforementioned psychedelics may have had a lot to do with that. Throw some Vietnam in there, throw some, the Brits discovering the blues from America. There's lots of things that kind of shape pop music. And this choice for 1969 is by one of the guys who was kind of the epitome of pop, if you will. Um, this is Harry Nilsson. Everybody's talking. Um,
Oh my
so it was
God.
the
Yeah.
song from Midnight Cowboy, not a song that Harry Nilsson wrote. Um, that I think Fred Neil is the guy who wrote it, who's also a performing artist. Um, but Nilsson's version has become definitive and one
The
of his biggest hits.
quintessential.
If
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, it's again, it only hit 73 on the year-end singles, which leads me to think, what the heck is wrong with you people? But like many songs, hindsight and time, makes them grow to become greater in stature than they were
Legendary
at
status.
the
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
To me, this is when you're whipping up a confection batch, this gets pretty darn perfect as far as 1969 goes. So
I
that's
would,
my concluding track, whether it's got Roy Orbison, Abe Lincoln, or Todd Rundgren involved or not.
there you go.
Harry Nilsson.
No, no, I would agree. And I was saying this on another show with Bill that Harry Nilsson is a prime example of an artist that fell victim to his own sabotage
Sure.
in terms of like in the 70s. And my God, what a waste. I'm sorry. Just what a, of opportunity. But and also if people out there watching want to see a good documentary, check out Who is Harry Nilsson?
Yes.
And it's on YouTube. You can you can find it very easily. But a fantastic track. And I'll give my pick for 69, but let Ken go first.
Okay. One
Tell
of
me.
my favorite one of my favorite songwriters of all time is Jimmy Webb. Um, he's made several. He is primarily known as a songwriter for other artists.
MacArthur
Um,
Parker. Yeah.
I think he first was brought to the public's attention with Glenn Campbell's Galveston, which is technically Jimmy Webb's Galveston, but anyway, and then Jimmy Webb was asked to write a follow-up single to Galveston, which turned out to be Wichita Lineman.
Oh,
This song for me, this song is just a tearjerker. It is just so good. Um, to me, it's even better than Galveston. It peaked at number three in U.S. Top 100, number one in country, and one in the number one in the easy listening chart. In researching this list caused me to go down a rabbit hole, and
I can see that.
I got on Spotify and made a playlist of all the different covers of this song. And it is absolutely amazing how many different artists of all genres have done this song. It's just I don't know. It's just the perfect pop song for me. Um, and actually, Jimmy Webb is made several albums himself, and the one version that of this song that he did um, actually almost surpasses Glenn Campbell's in
Hmm.
that Jimmy Webb is a phenomenal pianist, and what he does on piano with this song just kind of takes it to another level instrument wise. He's no schlub on vocals either, but
Hmm.
it just shows another dimension, um, to this song. And knowing that he wrote this came out of him, out of his brain, just makes it amazing. But yeah, Wichita Lineman, Jim, you mentioned Walk On By. You can listen to that on repeat. I'm the same way about Wichita Lineman and kind of
sure.
done that a few times. Um, and Glenn Campbell got his start in the Wrecking Crew.
Yes.
He was a
And the
guitar
Wrecking
player in
Crew
the
is
Wrecking
backing this song. Yeah.
Crew. And if you doubt Glenn Campbell's guitar playing, oh, go on YouTube. He could mm, he could play like no one else's business.
Hmm. Hmm.
Incredible,
Yep.
incredible. Electric, acoustic, 12 string, whatever. He could shred,
Briefly
Yep.
a member of the
shred.
Beach Boys as well. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a documentary I think HBO did about 7 years ago, I think, on Glenn Campbell after he stopped touring.
I have it on DVD.
Oh, it's a wonderful retrospective.
Hmm.
He was he was more than just you know, Glenn Campbell
He
hour.
was more than just a rhinestone cowboy. I mean, there was a lot to him.
Yep.
I mean, there's
Um,
a lot of those pop songs that, later on that I didn't really care for, like Rhinestone Cowboy. But oh man, when I did a deep dig into them, a couple of years ago, it's like wow, just
Yeah.
yeah, no, it's
unbelievable.
true. It's true. Um, it's a shame because most of these musicians' accomplishments do not get mentioned as much because the
Right. They
pop hits that,
become
sorry, because the pop hits that they've released have, in most cases, overshadowed
Yeah,
right.
their previous accomplishments. So
easy, easily.
yeah, um, it's a good choice. It's a good choice. My one pick for 1969, I do not know the name of the track. It's from Dionne Warwick and is from the movie, the theme song from the Valley of the Dolls.
Ooh. What is it about that track?
It's a ballad. It's the arrangement. It's her vocal delivery, very paced but very soulful delivery in her vocals.
Hmm.
Just beautifully done. Just beautifully done. And of course, Valley of the Dolls, famous for the last movie featuring Sharon Tate months before the murders. But I I don't know if it's a Burt Bacharach and Hal David composition. It might be, but when you hear this piece of music, this track, it is simply sublime. It is just beautifully done, immaculate. There is nothing to be done to it to improve on it.
So I was just looking this up, Armando, while you were talking about it. Theme from Valley of the Dolls is actually written by Andre Previn,
Mm.
and
Good, Brevin. Okay.
Dionne Warwick's version comes from her album called Dionne Warwick in the Valley of the Dolls, which which features "Do You Know the Way to San Jose?" Another
Which is
Burt
one of my
Bacharach.
other favorite ones as well. So yeah.
Yeah, another Burt Bacharach monster, and a version of "Up, Up and Away"
Oh my
written
goodness.
by
Uh,
Ken
Todd Rundgren.
Jimmy Webb.
Jimmy Webb. Okay. Tom Rundgren. Okay.
That's close.
All right. No, no, no. I just remember hearing that that version of the song of the theme from Valley of the Dolls in the film,
Yeah.
and it's just a beautiful song. Very emotional, very heartfelt vocal delivery, but very paced, very measured in the way she delivers it. Beautiful, very,
Certainly.
very soulful, very warm delivery. Just
Yeah.
majestic.
Well, Andre Previn is one of the best film scorers of all time.
Yep.
So,
You see, I did not. You see, we watched the movie on YouTube one night. Didn't even get a DVD copy of it because you have to pay an arm and a leg. But there you go. That's my pick for 69.
yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Perfection Confection, hits of the 60s. A very long episode. We do apologize for that. We went off the rails about 10 times, but we kind of brought it back in. So I want to
That's
thank,
what we do.
It is
no,
what we do.
it is what we do very well, actually. I want to thank Frick and Fack, Ken and Jim for coming with me on this journey. And again, hopefully, by listening to this list and um, listening to these tracks. Hopefully, we've helped you rediscover some songs you didn't know, or maybe you forgot about, or songs that you really didn't know. And please put down in the comments below, down there, your picks, right? Maybe there's songs that we missed. Again, we're not experts.
Doubtful. We're authoritative.
Oh, yeah, right. Don't listen to them. We are not experts in any stretch of the
No.
imagination. We just love music, and we just wanted to bring you these lists from these episodes. In these episodes, songs that again would possibly bring back memories for you, as they did for us. All right. So again, please click like and subscribe, and do hit the notification bell to keep yourselves on top of any new content we've got coming up. We have more shows coming up. We have album anniversaries, uh, albums celebrating their 30th anniversary for the month of April. We've got that coming up very soon. We're going to record, and it's going to be up very soon. And yeah, and more shows that we're working on, more ideas that are percolating, and that we're going to put together, and we're going to get them to you as soon as we humanly can. Okay? So please look after yourselves and one another. And yeah, we will see you soon with more episodes. Bye for now.